Warning: the following podcast requires hermetic sealing. In the event that you smell pork, notify hazmat officials of a leak immediately.
Dreamweavers, stargazers, and whimsical souls, welcome, one and all, to the very first episode of Baconspiracies. I am Chop, your host with the roast, and these are my lovely guests, AlixandraGalaxy
Hello.
and TrainerDC.
Hello.
How we doing, everybody? We doing okay? Doing good?
Yeah, doing good today.
Good. Nothing special.
Nothing special.
Well, besides this first amazing episode.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude.
So excited.
So, basically, what this podcast is about is I just want to have lighthearted, maybe not super serious discussions about pretty much anything that blurs the line of reality and fiction. Be that folklore, superstition, the supernatural, cryptids, the occult, magic, anything of the sort. It's interested me for a very long time. And this isn't for anybody in particular. This is just a place to catalog long-winded conversations that I would have with people anyway. And if it catches on, cool.
Yeah.
So, what I was hoping to talk about today, because Alex and I are from the States and Trainer is from Europe, I wanted to just get a few stories out there that, you know, some people from other parts of the globe may not have heard of. Maybe some folks from the East want to hear about some Western stories and vice versa.
All right. Well, and I'll just open up. Let's start with something we call ID, or the direct translation would be giants. Do you have anything about giants in America?
Actually, yes, there is. I don't remember what tribe it is or who discovered it. Let me just. But there is tales of like giant Native Americans that Spaniards had encountered whenever they were first, exploring the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Susquehannock, I believe. It was in the 1600s, and they were all like 7 feet tall minimum.
Damn.
I don't know if that's in the same vein as the type of giants you're referring to, but they were very big people, according to multiple accounts.
Well, with us, in Slovenia particularly, there is a story going around, or a folklore, that the giants originated from the mountains here. And what we have, which you can see in the mountains, is multiple faces of cliffs, which really resemble the faces of people. And it's quite eerie, to say the least. So I must send you just a picture so you can visualize it. Alexandra, do you have perhaps something about giants? Well, Chop looks at this.
Not like necessarily like large giants. I know over here in the States we have like some large cryptids, like specifically like Wendigos or like Bigfoot. But I'm not like really familiar with like a giant folklore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, I see it now. Also, feel free to post anything like this in the general text channels, just because it's
Yep.
it's gonna relates to what we're talking about here. But yeah, no, this right here is honestly really cool because there's a whole lot of people that believe in what's called the old world.
Mm-hmm.
And like the rock formations that are like mesas and stuff. It's like basically a flat plain on a sheer cliff, like are surrounded on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people out there that believe those to be stumps of trees from the old world, because petrified wood can have similar texture and structure to stone. So are people believing that to be like the corpse of a giant?
They believe that the mountains are original giants, or rather that the mountains stem from the giants. That's why when you go into the mountains, we greet everybody, we're very respectful, we don't throw trash away. Well, because the old people believe that that would be how you anger the giants, and that's how you wouldn't return safely back home.
That's very interesting to hear.
Are you fucking kidding me? You guys have folklore to back up keeping your country and your landscapes clean?
Yeah, we do.
Dude, I wish we had something like that in the States. Like, don't throw your trash in Yellowstone or the fucking spirit of the supervolcano is going to come up and eat you.
Yeah, I fucking hate people who throw their trash away when they hike. Come on, respect nature. The
Literally.
giants will get you.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
So, touching on this old world thing, we also have a king of legends, which is called King Matthias, or Kral Matthias in my language. And it's supposed to be a king which lives, incidentally, under a mountain. And when his beard wraps 9 times around the table, he will awaken and lead the Slovenian people back to prosperity. So maybe that's also leaning into the fantasy that there was a kingdom before, there was utopia before, but now it's all gone, lost technologies, fertility.
Atlantis and the sort.
Yes.
Man, we really fucking put the tinfoil hats on super fast, talking about the old world and Atlantis. Hey guys, by the way, the Earth is flat. It's surrounded by an ice wall.
Planes aren't real.
You're one of those fuckers that believes in flight.
Hey! Birds are drones. Why else are they on the power lines? They're charging up.
Oh my god, we've derailed so fast.
Okay. Let's
No,
let's
you're
step
good.
back. Let's step back and go to the old world. Did you guys know that in Bosnia, so 2 countries away from me, they found sun pyramids?
Some period?
Sun pyramids. Just a second. A cat is trying to invade my room. I hope it's not a giant bear.
Just imagine giant cat.
I have a cat trying to invade me as well.
Ooh,
So,
which
I guess while Trainer's gone, Alex, if you want to tell me about that book that you were talking about before we started recording, Haunted New Jersey.
Oh yeah, I remember like having it a few years back, and it got me really into the supernatural, like more into like paranormal stuff, I should say. Like like I would have never known that I would live not too far away from a haunted location. I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but that there's like a ghost that is there of a little girl, and they can hear her playing upstairs. And I would have never known that I live like literally a few blocks away from there.
Oh wow! So New Jersey's got like enough established supernatural goings on that they wrote a whole
Yeah,
fucking book about it.
yeah, especially like the big thing is like the Jersey Devil.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah. Uh,
Haunted New Jersey. Get off my desk.
oh, which cat is trying to invade now?
The fat one.
The fat one. No.
But yeah, I get living near haunted stuff. We actually have in my town. I'm not gonna dox myself, but
Oh.
we have a abandoned insane asylum.
Ooh, fun.
It's simply known to locals that go to it all the time as Old Bryce, and it was built in the 1850s and opened in 1861. It was the State Hospital for the Insane. And it's actually on the campus of the college in my town, and it's like a centerpiece now. And so many people have gone in it that it's like it's been cordoned off, and they have police around it at all times, just because they don't want to deface the property, because it was like the university's trying to do like a $40 million restoration on it, and it's still ongoing to this day.
Speaking of hauntings and ghosts, I have two houses very close to me, which obviously I'm also not going to dox myself. Ha! Smart. I have one which is 5 minutes away from me by foot, where there was a serial killer who burned multiple women in an oven.
In an oven?
Yes, in a like giant oven.
Like one of those walk-in ovens.
Yeah, I kid you not. On very rare days, if you walk past there, you can smell as if something's burning in that house, but it's abandoned completely. Nobody's been living there. Another one is below me, so again, 5 minutes away, abandoned. 3 families lived in there. All 3 families, the husband hung himself. It's got to the point where they got a priest. They had to demolish the house, build it up again. So now you have a Austrian couple just visiting every now and then. So I'm well familiar with a lot of weird happenings in this area. It's crazy, and I love it.
I love it too, man. There's a lot of weird happenings here. Continuing to touch on, haunted estates and stuff, we also have the Jemison Center, which I'm basically doxing myself at this point. It's Alabama. This one was built in 1939 and has some very, very racial backgrounds to it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of plantation work done here, and over 130 people were forced to share one bathroom. And this place is not getting restored. It's absolutely incredibly dilapidated. And I actually know several people that have, gone in there and tagged the place. They believed in shock therapy here and tranquilization, and a lot of terrible, terrible things were done here. And people can report, hearing screams and footsteps and, all the typical things that you would expect from a haunted building. It's crazy because you'll hear footsteps on floors that don't even exist anymore because they've been rotted through.
That's very interesting. I know that some things are needed, especially when trying to communicate with like the paranormal.
I don't know about any of that. I've never attempted.
Yeah, listen. uh, all I gotta say is drama kids and Girl Scouts both kind of like the supernatural, at least in my cases. Because there was a camping trip, and along there, uh, one of my fellow Girl Scouts, they brought along a Ouija board with them.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I will never fuck with is Ouija boards, because so much can go wrong.
Yeah, you don't invite the other side into your house. That's a big mistake you can make.
Another thing you probably shouldn't do that I had the mistake of doing, I was in like this film camp, and I was hanging out with the other girls there, and we were looking up ghost games on like this one website that we could play. Uh, we played two different ones. One of which you had to hold each other, sit around in a circle, hold each other's thumbs, chant something. And the story behind that game went as like there was this place where a woman was murdered. Her body was like cut up in all different pieces, and everything was recovered except her thumb. The goal with that game is to try to find her thumb, and it would supposedly, I believe, grant you a wish. It was really weird, but something you had to keep in mind was someone had to stay by a candle and blow it out in case an entity came by. And if you were to open your eyes at any time during that before someone blew out the candle, your soul would supposedly be trapped there.
Where did you find this?
It was a while ago. There was like this website. I forget.
The only website I know about that was like horror games or whatever was like lamando.com. Kind of, it's like a weird point and click horror adventure game.
Yeah, this wasn't like an online game that you download. This is something that you physically do. You sit around, you chant something, and you would go into this particular place.
Oh, it wasn't on it. It wasn't like a game like on the computer. It was like you looked up games to play IRL.
Mm-hmm.
We're strictly brought up to never attempt such things, at least in my country. They literally would beat the living shit out of you if you would do something like that. No, I do mean it. Superstition and, the fear of the occult is here not only very prevalent, but it's enforced.
Really?
Yes.
It's like the entire subject is fucking is taboo over there.
Not just taboo. It's if there's a place which is haunted, it's just accepted to not go there at all under no circumstance. Have you ever heard of the plague island, Poveglia, near Venice?
I have not.
Poveglia is a island where the quarantine actually started. So ships which would sail to Venice would have to wait before they can enter Italy. The beach on that island there's a ridiculous high percentage of just ash, human ash, because they burned the plague victims there. And nobody is allowed to step on that island. It is decreed by the state of Italy that nobody is allowed to go there just because it's so bad with the hauntings and ghost sightings.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I've heard about this place.
Yes.
There's a new article about it too. Is that out there in the Venetian Lagoon?
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I've heard about this. This was where they dumped all the bodies during the Black Plague, right?
Exactly. And that's why it's just taboo here. So if it's a haunted location, usually it's like I kid you not, it's like Ghostbusters movies. They will send out like priests to locations to try to exorcise stuff and bless the place, fill it up with salt and chalk, leave it there for a while, and then maybe return to check on it. But we have abandoned houses because of this, and nobody talks about it.
I found out what the game was called.
Oh yeah?
It's called the Thumb Game, ironically.
Find the missing left thumb of a murdered young woman. If you find
Yep.
it, your wish will be granted. The left thumb was nowhere to be found. Wow, okay. What the fuck? So there are people just playing this shit?
Yep.
Kids are stupid, dude.
Yep. I'm sorry for interrupting your trainer.
No. It's just
No.
what you said. You do not invoke the other side into your house. You do not do that. I mean, I come from Switzerland, and I moved into this country. And my mom got labeled a witch just because something stupid happened. She was just walking past a farmhouse and a cow died.
Oh.
I kid you not, the entire village, until now, shuns my mother. They do not want to talk to her. It's really medieval practices when it comes to that.
Just because a cow died when she walked
Yes. Yes. They're good people, but very superstitious ones. But returning to, Poveglia. In Poveglia, apparently, over 100,000 people died on that island. So that place, if hauntings exists, that is a prime location. And that is not a place I want to ever go to. Because with my luck, I would get, I don't know, killed. Probably.
by. It was also a place where legends of vampires would crop up. whenever somebody else died, they would reopen a death pit where there were already numerous corpses down there. If they didn't burn them, they would just bury them in these makeshift catacombs. And sometimes they would find a recently buried corpse that had blood dripping from its mouth. And they believed that these people were just either, reawakened or pretending to be dead. So they could feast on the blood and flesh of everybody else that had passed down here.
Some graveyards, also not in my country, but some graveyards had little bells above their graves because back when medicals weren't as advanced, they would mistakenly bury people which were still alive. So if you would wake up in a grave, you could ring the bell that you say, "Hey, I'm still alive. Please get me out of here." Just imagine that.
Did they just have, did they bury you with the bell, or is it like a bell on top of the gravestone that had like a handle or like a pull cord going down into the grave?
A little pull cord.
Huh. Maybe that's where the whole zombie thing started.
Could be.
Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't I would probably immediately just assume zombie and they were trying to trick me so they could take a bite out of my fucking head.
Yeah, definitely. Poor person in there.
Was it common, for someone to accidentally be buried alive?
Well, when your pulse gets so low that you can't detect it but just fingers, they didn't have what is it, stethoscopes, I think. So you'd be in a quasi state of death, but you weren't really dead. So they'd just bury a poor guy, and he'd awaken in the coffin.
Yeah, the stethoscope wasn't invented until 1816, and back then it was just a piece of wood. It wasn't nearly as advanced as we have today. It's just, a very sound conductive material that you would just push into your ear and then up against whatever you were trying to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Things were much simpler back then.
Since we talked about vampires and zombies, how prevalent is werewolves in America?
It's a lot in it's portrayed a lot in media. You have Teen Wolf and you have fucking, God, I hate even saying it, Twilight and all that shit. But as far as real werewolves go, there aren't a whole lot of popular stories that I'm aware of, but I do know that there are some people that I know personally that have silver bullets for whatever reason, whether it's werewolves or not.
It is customary that in our country, hunters carry them with them. Because werewolves, or as we call them, vokodlaks, are a thing which the hunter groups are taught that if they should see it, change to silver. It's never recorded that something happened, but just think about it. Did you have a public group of hunters in the entire country going around with silver bullets? That tells you something went down there, and they don't want to talk about it.
So it's prevalent enough over there for people to carry lead and silver bullets.
Yes, they're issued by the hunter families. So
really,
yes. So the country is divided into several families, hunter groups, but we call them families. Each has their own forests, and there's a forest called Yatna, which is a very very huge forest where people go missing all the time, and those people who go in there, they will never talk about their hunting trips. I tried it multiple times to, coax anything out of them. But they would just get really, distant as soon as you'd ask anything about it.
Man.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah, we don't have anything that's... As far as werewolves themselves, it's not quite as hush-hush over here, but in the States, it's something that you definitely don't want to bring up, especially in the Midwest, where, Nevada and where the Navajo Indians are, is the skinwalker. In fact, they believe that even invoking its name, just saying it, the native, whether you're saying just the word skinwalker or its native name, that I don't even want to say it on the podcast. You can look it up if you really want to know. But they believe that there is kind of evil magic user that can transform or possess the bodies of animals, and they're a very, very serious topic in some circles. In fact, it's a lot of people that I know, some of my personal friends, they just refer to them as flesh pedestrians to avoid, accidentally invoking the name.
I used to go on a lot of evening runs. Especially when we first settled here in this house. I'm living in a basically 150-year-old house, which, well, the owner hung himself in. Farming, I know. But I used to constantly go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Casual. Yeah, the guy who built this house killed himself in it.
Yeah. But I used to go on evening runs quite a lot. And one of those days, a friend of mine here living said, "Dude, don't do this." I said, "Why?" "Just don't do this." Hey, explain it to me. He said, "No, just stop." And obviously I didn't listen until one night. And I'll remember this night throughout my entire life, 100%. Because the night I was in the middle of the woods and everything was dead fucking silent. That shit haunts me every single day because it went from, just normal noises to it being completely and utterly silent. And as I walked or ran, I just felt as if something was just behind me constantly, and I didn't muster up the courage to look behind me. But ever since then, once it's dark, I'm not stepping outside of my house. Under no circumstance.
I wouldn't either. Fuck that. I can understand not wanting to go outside whenever it's completely quiet. I live in the woods as well. Like it's 15 feet from my back porch to the tree line, and then it goes on for miles. There are signs where it's, an apex predator because most everything will go quiet. The only thing you'll really hear are the bugs. You won't hear any birds or anything like that. But it's even when the bugs go quiet that I don't step outside. It's real don't go in them there woods kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the event got me to the point where I just don't go into the woods here alone anymore. Even if I have to, get some firewood and stuff, I always take somebody with me. It doesn't feel right anymore. Like I pissed something off.
Pissed something off.
Yes, I tried to talk to the people here multiple times about it. And like those hunter assholes, they just don't want to talk about it. So I theorize there is some urban legend, something about this place that they just don't want to talk about. Because also our dogs, I had 3 dogs. When we let them out at like in the evening, they would never go away from the house. They would always like stay on the porch.
Oh.
Yes. No, they would not leave the porch. Like they would literally piss and shit rather like 2 meters away from the house than venture anywhere close to the forest at night.
Yeah, no, dogs are usually a really good litmus test of whenever things like that are out there.
Yeah. But yes, so it's not just my traumatizing experience. Hey, Alexandra, do you have anything? As I don't like talking about this.
Of like the spiritual encounters and stuff.
Whichever. Let's just change the subject, please.
I've heard about how I believe some places will bury a black dog in graveyards as like the first body buried there, because it's thought that the first body that's buried there will stay there and guard it against evil spirits. And so they bury a black dog there to protect all the spirits that are supposed to move on.
Is that where hellhounds come from? That whole legend?
I don't believe it is hellhounds. It's more like the black dog is like the guardian of the graveyard, protecting the spirits of the deceased there from the evil spirits.
Not me casually about to go to every graveyard in a 50-mile radius to see what pops up after midnight. Just
Okay.
have a checklist. Is this a black dog? No. Okay, moving on.
We are very quiet when we go to the graveyard because kids are taught that you should, whisper, or rather be very quiet on a graveyard, lest you invoke the wrath of the dead.
That I can tell you is universal.
Okay.
The exact same etiquette is taught over here. You respect the dead. You respect their eternal sleep. You don't get too loud, especially after dark.
Yeah.
So, I personally think the place that I live on might have some paranormal activity. Uh, because I have told you these stories before about how my sister, when she was a baby, uh kicked something off her birch, like the changing table. My mom lifted her hand up off my sister about an inch, and when she looked up, my sister was not there, and she heard a thud, and there was my sister on the ground, not crying at all. Like she was just picked up and placed on the ground.
So just as soon as your mom like just removed any like physical and visual contact.
Yeah, she like lifted her hand, my sister, like an inch or so, bent over to pick up the item that she kicked over. And when she went back up, she saw that my sister was not there, but was like right in front of the changing table, right on the floor. Another thing that happened, which I blame myself, it's not like anything bad happened, but I do believe I have some porcelain dolls that I did buy from a thrift shop that do possess some spirits in them. And I was at my computer where I am right now, and it was like probably like 12:30 a.m. and I was like playing a game. I was into it, and out of the corner of my eye, I see what looks to be this humanoid figure that looks like one of the dolls that I have walk by me over to where the doll sits, and it shook me.
Porcelain dolls are another thing I don't fuck with. You guys ever heard of Robert the doll?
Nope.
Actually, I've heard of like different haunted dolls, but I've never heard of specifically Robert.
So I'll just drop the I'll just drop this in chat. It's allegedly the most haunted doll. It's where the whole Annabelle movie came from, is stuff like this.
Yeah.
This, people have seen this doll move on its own, change its expressions. They've heard giggling from the case it's in. I have lost my fucking train of thought. Where was I going to go with this? Goddamn, maybe I really need to do a script for the next
All
one.
right. What about Ghost Train in Newark, New Jersey?
Enlighten me.
1 second. At midnight at the 10th of every month, it's reportedly driven by the ghost of an engineer who was killed by a train in 1868. Uh, Crowds of people have like gathered to like witness this, and but people can only hear like a rumble of a steam engine and its whistle. But supposedly there is the audio of a ghost train somewhere on the internet.
I'm gonna find this now.
We don't have anything about ghost trains and stuff. What we have is a cave which is apparently connected to hell itself, and we have a river which brings spirits on. But given how the river looks when you are on it, you understand why people think it is like it. So basically, they say that nymphs and witches live close to this river. And it's basically just because of the difference in temperature. You have an eerie mist constantly on this water.
That's very ethereal.
Yeah.
Kind of want to go there. That looks really nice.
Yeah, the other one is the Hell Cave. So If you stare long enough at it, you'll notice that there's 2 depictions of demons in it. But let's see. I won't tell you where, but let's just see if you can see them.
Now we're playing I Spy with this little image
where's
the trainers
Waldo?
just dropped in chat.
I do apologize for that, but
Oh, you're good. I think I see him at the base of these pillars here,
Mhm.
like statues almost.
yes. So one is the fat looking guy on the right side, which looks like he has a skirt, and the other one
Mhm.
is the thing which overlooks the entire thing, like it has a little mouth, an eye, and a giant like hat. But there's a shit ton of depictions like this in this cave, and just like the faces on the hills, it's just fascinating to think that there's so many similarities.
Have you heard of the mouth of hell in I believe it's Turkmenistan?
Oh yeah.
The well of natural gases that was set alight in 1971 and has been burning continuously for over 50 years.
Yes, but there's also another one, I think in Greek, where they just had a very poisonous gas, and the priests were very tall, so they wouldn't be affected by it. But anybody who was, a little bit smaller than the priest died. So they said that, yeah, this is the cave to hell.
Because the gases were so dense that they were condensed at the bottom of
Yes,
the air in the cave.
yes,
Ooh, this is interesting. There's something called the Devil's Tree.
The devil's tree.
Legend says that the tree is cursed and will harm anyone who comes to disrespect it. Stories about around the tree vary, but this all center around hangings, from lynchings to suicides. But no, allegedly, snow does not fall around the tree, or it melts instantly upon touching it.
Hmm. The only thing which we have about trees is that if you cut a tree at a specific date, at a specific time, that wood will not burn at all. And apparently people had stoves made out of wood. Apparently. But I've never seen it myself. Now, what about traditions? Like, do you guys also have like a thing where you dress up to chase winter away?
Dress up?
What now?
Yeah, so we have a thing called kurenti. So I'll describe it. It's basically people dress up as these creatures in fur with long snouts, and they try to scare winter away. They have giant bells and stuff, and that stems from a tradition that if you don't scare winter away, it will come and it will freeze you to death.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything over here in the States.
It's very primal.
Yeah.
I like it.
Question is, why do we have this here? Because Slovenia is Central Europe. It's not exactly connected to tribalism, is it?
Tribal European stuff goes a long way and spreads very far and wide. You got to think how widespread was the Mongolian Empire at its peak. These traditions probably come from numerous places throughout history.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What about superstition? How do you in America ward off ghosts?
Sage.
Sage.
Yeah.
Burning of the sage. That's one of the
Specifically
ways.
white-
It has to be a certain kind
white
of sage.
sage.
No.
Wait, is
Not
it?
white sage. Not white sage. White sage is what invites energies into your home.
Oh,
It can be anything other than white sage. There's a whole book that's probably out there of the different kinds of sage that you can burn for different effects. But the one that I remember is that white sage opens a gateway. That's not what you want. But as far as warding ghosts off, that's the only thing I'm really aware of.
For us, it's chalk, salt, and fern. Just normal fern from the woods. But incidentally,
Now, salt is sorry. Go ahead.
No, continue, please.
I mean, salt is just what we. Salt is more for demons than ghosts. Like it's Like it just creates an impenetrable path. Like I read the story once about how these couple of people that just put salt in front of their door as a joke to, keep their friend who they claimed to be a demon out. And then they had ordered pizza, and the pizza guy, for whatever fucking reason, would absolutely not cross the salt line.
Oh god.
No shit.
And people were like, "Oh shit, maybe the pizza guy is a demon, or maybe the pizza chain is a horde of demons." Or they're like, "No, maybe the pizza guy thought you were demons and didn't want to deal with whatever bullshit you had going on in there."
Superstitions. Do you guys also have the, like, if a black cat, crosses the road,
Yeah.
it's bad?
A black cat crossing your path on a moonlit evening, walking under a ladder, breaking a
Yeah.
mirror,
Yeah.
all that, stereotypical stuff.
No.
I believe I heard that treating like a black cat right would bring around good luck, actually. If it is like a witch's familiar, showing respect to that witch, it would possibly bring you good luck.
That would get you burned 400 years ago.
Oh, well, black cats were literally hunted here. Because, funnily enough, Maribor was one of the places where the first and one of the last witches was burned in Europe. And the Malleus Malefactorium, or the witch hammer, was written about this area. It is a very comprehensive guide how to hunt witches, how to trial them, and so on.
So, witch hunting is worldwide then, because we had our own witch hunting. We had the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Here in the States. That's crazy to me that next to no communication about this was happening from country to country, and witches were such a widely accepted and feared phenomenon.
I wanted to say anything magic related was very shunned. But at the same time, you had alchemy, which was welcomed.
Witchcraft and alchemy are considered two different things over there.
Yeah, two different things. Because one was basically conveying with Satan, and the other one was, using your materials to transmute something new.
So, do you guys believe in all that about witchcraft?
Well, I'm very open-minded. I personally believe that a belief system as intricate as that doesn't just pop out of the ground. There is some merit to it.
I think a lot of knowledge was forgotten in the years where we existed. So there's to say that there is probably a different kind of science, or rather, let's say, the view of things. Because, let's be honest, the things which we are using now, which are everyday stuff, would be not just considered witch-like behavior, but godlike powers.
Yeah.
In the past.
You could go back to medieval times and create a new religion if you have a gun.
Not just a gun. Imagine a phone. Just a smartphone.
Ending all the bloodlines with a single sneeze.
A camera. Just a camera. You don't need much. Just give me a Nikon camera. I'll go back in time. I'll convince the king. If he goes against my wishes, I will trap his soul into this device and take a picture of him. I would be the most feared person.
A camera, to be sure. That's a good one. My whole thing with the gun is like you have a stick that you just point at someone and they're dead. Like there's a large flash and they just die. And you're just like, I wield this massive power, bow down to me. And then, if somebody tries to take your wand from you and kill you with it, it's like they're not going to know how it works. And then you could just be like, you're unworthy to wield this power, and then turn around and kill them with a gun. It's like, only I am the messenger.
Let's take it one step further. Have a bulletproof vest. They shoot you. You're like, ha ha! I am unscathed by your attempts.
Now, as for me, with like all the magic and stuff, I've personally been trying to get into Wicca, which is like believe it's a religion. for like witches?
I am very familiar with Wiccanism. I have a sister that is trying to learn it as well. It's just like with the tarot card readings and okay.
The tea.
So
yeah.
that being the case, I take it that you are familiar with Aleister Crowley and what the steps that he took to basically he's the grandfather of modern day Wicca.
Although I'm not familiar with him, the name does seem familiar. I might have read about it before, and I have forgotten.
Yeah, as I said, he is the grandfather of paganism or Wiccanism, or basically he founded the "do what thou wilt" mindset. He developed a religion known as Thelema, which is pretty much what like if you talk to a Satanist and they say, oh, Satanism isn't necessarily believing in Satan, it's it's the philosophy that we are our own god and we have to find our own true path in life. That is what Thelema was founded on. It draws heavily on alchemy and all the other sorts because Aleister Crowley was part of an order known as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and I want to talk about that on another episode because that is an hour and a half in and of itself. It's a deep, deep rabbit hole. Quote unquote, getting into Wicca is scratching the surface of the surface of a deep, deep dive. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. It was very helter-skelter, but that's just how it is over here at Baconspiracies. You boys a little scatterbrained. But we've covered some very interesting topics today, and I hope that this has been a good experience for both of you. I've learned a lot. I hope y'all have learned a lot. And I think we're gonna wrap it up. Before we end here, do y'all have any other projects going on? Anything you can self-plug? Where can we find you in the wild west that is the modern internet?
I don't have anything yet. The trainer?
Well, you can listen to my epidemic beats on YouTube, Twitch, or in VR chat. Just find TrainerDC's Epidemic Beats, follow me for some music, and join my epic vibes.
I can second that. The vibes are very epic. They gave me the dancing plague.
And I third that as well.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we are going to wrap it up here at Baconspiracies. Thank you for joining me and putting our proverbial noses to the ground to sniff up some forbidden mushrooms. And as always, be the cryptid that you wish to see in the woods. Have a good night, everybody.